I make a lot of videos about how to deal with having an anxious attachment style, especially in situationships. But what is so important to remember and what's not talked about enough is how so often women are gaslit when we have anxiety in our relationships or situationships. Women are very intuitive. We are very perceptive to changes in behavior. I think a lot more than men realize. We pick up on things way before a guy even has a chance to bring it up. Usually our intuition is always right, but we usually don't listen to it. And because we know we have an anxious attachment style and maybe past partners called you crazy or paranoid or insecure or whatever it might be, you don't trust yourself and you don't trust your intuition anymore. Maybe you feel like something is off and then you go to your partner and they're just like, no, like you're being crazy. Just straight gaslighting. And 9 times out of 10, your intuition is right. But a guy will essentially paint this picture that you're anxious for no reason. And that's the reason that maybe they start pulling away or all these things.
Gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Women Regretting Hookup Culture while still being on it every day, every month, every year, up until their 30s where they're no longer able to be part of it. But guys, let's get started with this one right here. And just before we start, I just want to say this woman's facial expressions, for me, are a red flag. Now, you ask me why, I cannot tell you. I'm not a psychoanalyst, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know why exactly, but once you start to see many people and you see how they behave, you know, your intuition starts to tell you and to pick up on facial expressions, you know, the stare, the glance, etc. So for me, guys, from my experience, this woman's look, this woman's facial expressions just speak of some mental instability. But what are your thoughts, guys? Do you have the same intuition? Of course, once you hear her speak, you know, you're going to be absolutely sure that's the case. But, you know, let's get started, guys.
I make a lot of videos about how to deal with having an anxious attachment style, especially in situationships. But what is so important to remember and what's not talked about enough is how so often women are gaslit when we have anxiety in our relationships or situationships.
Guys, I have anxiety in relationship. Oh, I mean situationships, yeah. I have anxiety when I date the chads that never cared about me. Right, they told me from the first moment that they don't care about me. Yeah, in those sort of relationships, I have anxiety. Oh, poor little you know, nobody cares, man. Nobody gives a damn. You put yourself in these situations. You love the toxicity. You love the anxiety. You love to get trashed. You actively search for it, and now you want pity. Now you want us to feel sorry that you feel anxiety. Bro, nobody cares. Fix your life. If you can't, live with the consequences. Nobody cares.
Women are very intuitive. We are very perceptive to changes in behavior. I think a lot more than men realize. Pick up on things way before a guy even has a chance to bring it up. Usually our intuition is always right, but we usually don't listen to it. And because we know...
Oh, well, good job then. You know, your intuition tells you everything. You are so wise and clever, yet you never listen to it and you decide to be stupid. What a nice way to put it, honestly.
Have an anxious attachment style and maybe past partners called you crazy or paranoid or insecure or whatever it might be. You don't trust yourself and you don't trust your intuition anymore. Maybe you feel like something is off and then you go to your partner and they're just like, no, like you're being crazy. Just straight gaslighting. And 9 times out of 10, your intuition is right. But
oh yeah, gaslighting, guys. Can you see why this woman is a huge red flag already? All her ex-boyfriends, if you can call them that, all her ex-situationships, you know, all the 5,632 situationships that this woman's been through, all of them thought that she was crazy. But she's not, right? And her intuition, apparently, guys, knew that all those situationships, all the men that have pump and dumped her, were red flags, but of course she didn't listen. It's just, man, you know, I knew she was a red flag the moment I saw her. And then she opens her mouth and she just proves me right.
The guy will essentially paint this picture that you're anxious for no reason, and that's the reason that maybe they start pulling away or all these things. It's a cop-out. I'm not saying this is the case all the time, but I've recently started talking to a guy, and since we started talking, I have not had a single anxious thought whatsoever. And I was trying to figure out the reason why, and it's simply because he acts right and he doesn't leave any room for me to have any anxiety. He will check in on me even in times where he does not need to at all. He makes plans, initiates plans, follows up on the plans. He'll double text me as needed. He was open with me and he wasn't scared and like leaning into things. It's obvious.
Guys, we're not here to do that. You say, oh, I like that he's straightforward, yada yada. You know, he just eases my mind. We're not here to ease your mind. You know, guys, every time a man says something along the lines of, I don't like you talking to other men. I don't like you just dressing provocatively. I don't like you going with your female friends to the club at 4 a.m. in the morning. You know, every time a guy says something like this, oh, you're insecure, you know. But when a person is really insecure, like this woman who is 100% insecure about herself, about others, about getting hurt, etc., you know, what should we call her that? Because that's what she is. But no, we're trying to paint ourselves as the victims. You know, we're not insecure. You know, it's not like it's our mistake. It's other people who give me enough reason to be really insecure. As she mentioned before, 9 out of 10 times my intuition is right. Well, 9 out of 10 times that a guy has this funny gut feeling that his girlfriend is cheating or, you know, getting with other men. Well, it turns out to be true. And yet we still get called insecure. The fact that you relate this behavior that your girlfriend is having to something that 9 out of 10 times turns to be cheating, oh, that is being insecure. You know, you see the irony, guys? And I don't buy that this person exists. It's either she's making it up, or it's either he's just another chat and she's fantasizing about him being a boyfriend. It's either that I think she has BPD, honestly. And one of the symptoms of BPD is, you know, this thing she's talking about of picking a favorite person who, you know, is the perfect one. Don't trust her, guys. Like she met this man. She says he's perfect. He eases her mind, etc. I don't buy it. You've been insecure with the last 200 guys that you've been with. You're not going to feel secure in a relationship right now. Just give her time. She's going to start calling him abusive and manipulative again, and gaslighter. You know, guys, women like this who go through so many bad relationships, they literally lose the ability to know what a good relationship is. It's literally impossible, right? It's not a metaphor. No, it's literally impossible. They lose perception. They don't know. They're so addicted to anxiety that there comes a point where you can put them in a relationship with the best man on this world, and they will still find holes to break that relationship through, you know? It's over, man. For a woman like this, it's over. The game is over. You will never find a man that will make you feel good, and you'll never make another man feel good as well.
Obviously really early days, but in the past, even at this stage, which is really early, I've had anxiety. It's because those guys didn't act right and my body was picking up on something that maybe I couldn't explain, but like...
Guys, I'll just pause it for a moment. Yeah, you can see that. They were all avoidance. Oh, interesting. You know, when you said you had situationships, I figured you had situationships with the guys who have good morals, you know, treat their families right, want to have, you know, a stable relationship. Oh, well, it turns out they were all avoidance, because that's what women are attracted to, guys. Don't let them fool you. Modern women, vast majority of modern women are addicted. They like guys who are avoidance, guys who don't care, guys who don't give them the time of day, guys who have more options, better options, and who don't give a crap about them. That's what they like. So again, guys, does anyone feel pity for a woman that has anxiety after knowing that she's been picking those guys who are avoidant throughout her whole life, and she's made the conscious decision to be part of situationships with avoidant guys who she already knows will ghost her? Man, you can't make this stuff up.
Like my intuition was trying to...
Oh, but we're still the victim, guys. I forgot to mention. She is the victim.
tell me something. And I just like wouldn't listen. And then they would gaslight me and tell me that it's my vibe that changed and that's the reason they pulled away. When the reality was they were never emotionally available to begin with. Keep working on yourself, but don't let people gaslight you. Follow me for more dating rants.
Well, at least she said dating rants and not dating advice, because if she's if she went on to say dating advice, I would lose it, guys. But this woman, man, honestly, I feel no sympathy, but at the same time, I feel some sort of sadness, you know, on a more general societal level, that we have women this young just being absolutely wasted, just wasted, trashed, demolished, you know, by their own doing. Now let's continue, guys.
Okay, so as I am about to get ready for bed, I just wanted to come on here and rant, kind of like what I do in my private story. Basically, the other day, I was scrolling on TikTok and I listened to this one girl. She was like talking about a guy, like how to get over like a situationship, not necessarily in one, like it's not about me. I just hope that this helps someone and it's just like a good mindset to have. So basically, every girl, there's like a hopeless romantic side to like every girl, at least a little bit. And so we will literally like a guy or something and we'll just create like an idea of who they are in our head. Like we will literally create scenarios of this person, and they may not be that type of person in real life. We just create an idea about it and then we fall in love.
Oh yeah, we know. Say no more. We know what you're talking about. It's literally what the vast majority of women do. In all aspects. In high school, you know, when you were in high school, notice how women never liked the good guys or the smart guys, or, you know, no, they always liked the athletic and bad boys. That's it. You know, and that continues throughout their lives. When you're in a working sphere, maybe there's a guy who is obnoxious, and women will say, oh man, this guy is so rude, so obnoxious, and then they go and sleep with him. You know, women like the bad boys. Just because they like to fantasize, you know, because good guys are boring, but bad boys, oh, you know, there's so much emotion in that, so many feelings, etc. And, you know, I can accept that. I mean, men also like to fantasize about having a wife with extremely huge breasts and whatever, you know, looking like a Greek goddess. It's all right that you have this in your mind where you fantasize about something, but, you know, taking it to the extreme is the bad thing, and that is what women do. Men, yeah, they may fantasize about having a wife with 4 times larger melons, but they will never divorce because their wife is not, you know, doesn't have the breasts of Pamela Anderson. They will never jump from one relationship to another just because a woman has larger breasts, you know. I mean, maybe not the best example I'm giving, but you get the idea. Women do this all the time. They break off relationships because they want to find something better, some guy who is more, and usually it's more in the bad way, right? They don't jump from one relationship to another because the other man is more polite. No, they jump from one relationship to the another because he is richer or has more options or is more attractive, you know. And they literally break off marriages because they want to fantasize about someone else because they think the grass is greener. You know, that is taking it to the extreme. You are delusional, right? It's not this little cute thing that you know, I'm a romantic. No, you're not a romantic. You're crazy. You're a lunatic. You see that, right?
With the idea and the scenarios that we like literally made up in our head about this person. And then what can happen is we would get disappointed in real life because that's not reality necessarily. So she said he literally is who you make him up to be in your head. It just makes so much sense because we always create scenarios about guys and then we get let down or disappointed.
Okay, stop, right? Stop doing that. Stop right now. Calm down to earth, right? Step on both your legs. Stop being delusional. Stop fantasizing. You're not in a Disney movie. Okay, you're a human, physical human. You exist in this realm. Be down to earth. I don't know how to say it, guys.
if they aren't that type of person, or we start to like the idea of someone or who they could be. So basically, if you catch yourself thinking about scenarios and trying to create a version of someone that may not actually exist in reality, try to just remind yourself that I'm making this up in my head, and that's that. You should instead pay attention to what he does, what he shows you in real life, and then use that to make a better judgment. Us girlies are so emotional when it literally comes to anything and everything and everyone. So yeah, if you catch yourself just thinking about someone and falling in love with someone that you created in your head, just remind yourself that this is probably not who they are, and give yourself time to observe and get to know who they actually are.
Guys, I love how this woman is out here trying to be rational, trying to be logical, you know, making a plan, a strategy as to how not to fall for Chad again. Yet she cannot escape the fact that all her decisions are based on feelings, you know? Now, some people say that women in general behave like this. I'll not comment on that, but this particular woman, I can say, you're trying to, you know, giving all this advice, all this mental gymnastics about what you're going to do in the future, you know, how to get rid of the toxic man. Yet we right here know that the next decision regarding men that you will make will be strictly emotional. All this logic that you're talking about, all these steps, you will not follow up on them. You'll just go back to your feelings and still fantasize about Chad, because that's what you've been doing throughout your whole life.
Expectations, but if you are trying to expect something that you thought of in your head from this person and it doesn't happen, you will get disappointed, and it's like probably the worst feeling ever. Being let down is the worst feeling. To avoid that by observing the reality and not just creating like a fake fantasy person. I hope that made sense just a little bit, but that's all. Good night.
Guys, just before we move to the next TikTok, you probably know this case, right? But it's so funny in case you don't know. Robert Pattinson, right? The actor from Twilight, he has a really funny story where he had this woman simp just following him around everywhere, just wanting to meet him really badly. And so he couldn't get rid of her. And so what he did is actually date her. They went on a date, and she just fell out of love, right? Because it turns out, guys, that Robert Pattinson is not actually a vampire, you know. Hard to believe, I know, but he was not a vampire. He wasn't so cool as in the movies, you know, just so sexy all the time. He was just a normal human being. He was a man, you know, with his own problems, with his own, you know, bad behaviors and bad attitudes, just a normal human being. And this woman just stopped simping for him. Like, man, kudos to Robert Pattinson, man, what a chat. Just got rid of her in the best way possible, but you know, this story, guys, is so funny. Because it's so funny to see how women will fantasize so much, you know, and in the mind of that woman, she will be willing to give her life for Robert Pattinson, and then she actually gets to know him, and suddenly, wait, are you telling me that he's not like in the movies? Are you telling me he's not the way I fantasized he would? Holy cow, you know? Then we have people in society, guys, not knowing why the divorce rates are so high. Because women have the same expectations as this woman towards Robert Pattinson. They fantasize, they expect men to fulfill all their crazy dreams and aspirations. They want to live in a Disney movie. They want marriages to be an endless honeymoon. And it's not like that. I mean, forget the fact that men are human, right? You are also human. You realize that, right, woman? You're not God's gift to the earth. You're not angels. You're not some sort of divine, you know, superhuman, super creature anyway. You're a normal ass human being. So, you know, start acting like one and start having the appropriate standards and aspirations that a normal human can achieve. What about that?
You ever meet a guy that gives you less than the bare minimum
and for whatever reason, you keep going back for more. Also, I know my nose is red. I was just crying. Leave me alone.
Guys, so we have Rudolph here, just spent a little time crying, and that brings a smile to my face because I couldn't give a crap. You know why? Maybe you're the first, it's the first time maybe you're here, you're watching this and you say, man, what is this a-hole just, laughing at women crying? You know, guys, this woman has been on the channel a lot of times, right? A lot of times, like maybe 5, 6. And every time, guys, she's on the channel, she gives some advice in the sort of, know your worth. Don't let them play you anymore. I've just been in this bad situationship. He tricked me. He manipulated me. I will never do that again. And then you see her, if you check on my channel regularly, you'll see her next week saying the same things. So at some point, you just become so cold towards it, it's like a tape. It's like a broken tape, guys, are just on repeat. It's all the time the same words. And I should feel sympathy for you, absolutely no sympathy, man. Stop being stupid. Stop doing the same mistakes over and over. And guys, this video is probably gonna be 30 minutes, man. I can't stop talking today for some reason, but I was talking right on Discord with some of the boys, and we talked about simps and women. And I actually, I said that simps are equally as miserable as modern women. We have this idea of simps being really miserable, really sad people, not having any self-respect. And we think, some guys think that modern women have it so easy, they have so many options, it's so easy for them, they're living the best life. Yes, they really do have a lot of options, and yes, it's easy for them, but at the same time, they are equally as miserable. Like, see this woman, man, she's crying, she's doing the same mistakes 100 times, because she's stupid, of course, equally as stupid as simps. Modern women, guys, don't be fooled, they're not happy. All the options they have do not bring them a single drop of happiness. They are extremely unhappy. They're miserable. Check on this video. All women we've covered were crying, whining, upset, post-trauma situation. Guys, modern women are extremely miserable. You should know that. This philosophy that they're following does not lead them to happiness. Having a roster, riding the CC, this feeling that they have that they're on top of the world, they're really not. They're like substance addicts, guys. They feel the rush, they feel really well, but as every substance addict ever, there is a period of, dropping down and eventually becoming a 40-year-old miserable substance addict. Well, it's the same with these women, guys. It's the same. They will never reach happiness. They will go on a down spiral, reaching incredible depths, or as we call it, the wall. Now let's continue, as I've ruined this woman's life.
So I'm currently in this exact situation. I am seeing someone that is not giving me anything at all.
Oh, wow.
Like anything. Yet for some reason, my brain is so addicted to the dopamine hits that I get from this person. And it's so incredibly frustrating because I feel like it's almost a different version of me that is responsive to this person, if that makes sense. Like, it's not me, but it's another part of me that is addicted to this. Because consciously, I am so aware that I deserve way more than this. I deserve to have someone that's gonna always be there, be reliable, and give me everything I need without me having to beg for it. But then
if you actually deserve those things, you wouldn't be in this situation. Guys, I've come to hate the word deserve. You don't deserve crap. You deserve what you have right now. That is what you deserve. So if you're being trashed, that means you deserve that. You see?
This other part of me that I was describing, cannot say no to this person. And it is so exhausting. It is truly an emotional roller coaster. What's even worse is that I genuinely do have high self-worth about myself. I think very highly of myself when I'm single. But for some reason...
No. Stop it right there. Guys, that is not high self-worth. that is high standards. You have high standards towards other men. It's not about, oh yeah, I know my worth. This is why I will never date a guy who is, I don't know, 5'10", or, you know, a guy who doesn't buy me flowers every day. That is not having self-worth. That is having high standards, which you have for 98% of the men. But for those sweet 2% that you're chasing all the time, you don't have any standards. Because as you mentioned, they can be treating you like crap. They can be treating you like absolute garbage. No standards for those sort of men. But the normal men who actually want to take care of you and treat you like a princess, yeah, for them you have all the standards. And this is why, guys, we feel no sympathy. I mean, men, you know, yeah, the dating situation is absolute crap. We are screwed, you know. Trying to find a good woman nowadays, guys, is like just trying to find a unicorn. But we are the ones who end up winning. And I don't say that to cope. It's just the fact. You know, we just realize the situation. We take the red pill, and we realize how the world operates, and we just decide to be single, or, you know, maybe try our luck, whatever. But we know what we are doing, and we are actually chasing what we want. This woman right here doesn't know crap. She doesn't know what she wants. Hell, she doesn't even know who she is, right? She says, oh, there's these two sides of me. She doesn't know crap. She doesn't understand where she's going. What's the end goal? How will she get there? Modern women are lost. And men, well, the vast majority are simps, but, you know, at least us guys, men who have self-respect, who have taken the red pill or the black pill or whatever that has made them made the conscious decision to follow a certain destiny, a certain path, we are much better than these one right here.
When I'm with this person, it's like I just forget who I am. And I kid you not, for the past 2 weeks, every other day, I have either told my friends or myself, like, I'm done with him. And then the second he calls me or he texts me, it's like a flip switches and I'm like, oh my God, I have to respond to him. Like, this is not who I am. And I don't know what weird voodoo this person has put over me, because I have never, ever acted this way with any other guy in my life. And if you're new here, I was in a year-long situationship 2 years ago, and I cannot allow myself to do the same thing. Like, I refuse to be in any more situationships, which honestly, this seems to be where it's heading, and I cannot do it. Like, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I don't have room for it. So I'm so stuck.
This woman, this woman, guys, is on the brink of death. She's, you know, ready to pass away. She cannot take it anymore, gentlemen. She has had well over 1,000 situationships. You know, the whole town has been with her. She's traveled to other parts of the world just to have more situationships, and she cannot take it anymore. She's, you know, her head is going to explode if she continues. Yet she still cannot control it. Isn't that funny, guys? Now let's end this TikTok. Although I wish it wouldn't end. I can watch an hour of this, man, and I can laugh more than in a comedy.
Because, again, consciously, I should probably just walk away. I should know my worth. I should let go. But it is so much easier said than done, because I've got this other side of me, my inner child pretty much, that wants to win over this person so bad and wants to prove her worth. And I don't know how to stop this cycle.
And we'll end it right there, guys. I've blubbered enough in this video. Thank you if you've made it till the end. There's no commentary to be made about this. It just speaks for itself, guys. I don't know how any man can watch this last clip and not become red-pilled. You know, taking a look at what society has become, at what women have become, at what your average lady nowadays has become. They have become this. They cannot control themselves. They always fall for the bad boys right from high school, right from when they are 10 years old. They like the bad boys. As I've said before, it's sort of normal. You know, I understand that that's how women walk, but be down to earth, damn it. Don't take it to that length where you are dating someone who is actively ruining your life and is making you cry and you feel miserable. but you cannot stop it. You are more addicted to him than some people are addicted to math. I don't mean math, of course, but we'll end the video right here, guys. Honestly, what a funny last clip, man. I'm gonna watch this woman, guys, more. She's so funny. But what are your thoughts, guys? Leave them in the comments. Thank you if you made it till the end. You're a legend. I don't know if I've made your head hurt, guys, from blabbering so much. But thank you again, and I'll see you next time.